And that there is the end. So I hope that's been beneficial. Here, I'll just stop that share.
And thank you very much, Gerard, for that really that really powerful presentation. And I'm glad that you ended that presentation with a solution. So many times you hear people talking about problems and they don't really offer a meaningful solution, or their solutions require legislation and all this kind of stuff. So it's a really powerful presentation. So thank you for that. So,
thanks, Mark.
So now we're going to begin the Q&A session. And I just want to explain to the audience exactly how this works. So we don't take questions directly from the chat. Instead, we ask everyone to virtually raise their hand. If you're not sure how to do this, what you need to do is click on the reactions button at the bottom, second from the right. You'll see the reactions button at the bottom of the Zoom. Then you'll click on the raise hand function in the menu that pops up. When I call on your name, I will unmute you and prompt you to state where you are, where you're from, and to ask your question. And then we just ask that everybody keep their questions brief and on topic. But before I open it up, where would people find your documentary and anything else about you that you would like to share?
Okay, yeah, thanks, Michael. The documentary is now available free on YouTube with ads, but we're still doing a series of mostly with climate activist groups. So if you have a group who'd like to view a high quality version of the film, and then have a question and answer with one of the scientists behind the documentary, we are open to that. So if you have a climate action group or another group who'd be interested in viewing the film, then you're welcome to approach us. My email is gerard@eatingforextinction.com.
Eating for extinction?
Sorry, eating to extinction.
Eating to extinction. Okay, to extinction. I didn't think that sounded right. All right, cool. I misheard you. Eatingtoextinction.com. All right, perfect. So with that, and then they can get your book from where?
Okay, the book is online at eatingfortomorrow.com. I'll just put it's eating to extinction with a 2. So I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for that clarification. And eatingfortomorrow.com in order to get your book. All right, great. So if you'd like to ask a question of Gerard, you can go ahead and raise your hand, as I had mentioned. I see a couple of people there. So just there we go. And so the first question is going to come from Janine. Please state where you're from and ask your question.
Hello, Gerard. Thank you very much. I'm Janine. I'm from Camden in New South Wales.
Oh, hi.
I was very, very saddened to see so much of Australia involved in deforestation and water stress. My question is twofold. Firstly, do you think with the change in our federal government that people will be starting to listen? Because the main thing that I hear on the news is, renewable energies. We don't hear anything about our food. And so that's fairly local. That's an Australian question. But worldwide, are our world leaders actually listening, and are governments willing to take action? And particularly our own government, are they willing to take action?
Yeah, thanks, Janine. You hit the nail on the head. If the politicians aren't willing to change, then we're in a pickle. But I think it was Obama who once said to an activist, the activist said, look, this is your policy. Why haven't you implemented them? And Obama said, make me. In other words, these sort of changes, changing the food system is not on the agenda for most politicians. So it's only when there's the groundswell of personal opinion that they will change. And so eventually the politicians who are now saying, oh, they're coming for our burgers, they'll be saying, aren't we doing a great thing for planet Earth? Healthy ecosystems equals healthy you and me. So this will change if we change. That's not very helpful, but there's a lot of things that can be done on many different levels. As I said before, trees are precious. So any community tree planting exercises, that's a wonderful thing. Food, of course, is the number one. So every opportunity to get you get to be an annoying vegan, take it.
Yes.
And eventually, vegans. Well, it's not nice to have anymore. It's essential for our future. Do we want a habitable planet for our grandkids? If we do, then we must change. It's so simple, but I think being human, we're slow but not stupid, and we're slowly launching ourselves over the edge, over the abyss, and we'll be hitting our head against that brick wall, and one of these days our ears will pop out, and we will see, okay, we need to use Earth differently, and that means we need to eat differently. If you look at George Monbiot's latest book called Regenesis, this is exactly the message that he talks about, but he also talks about the future of food being craft brewed. In other words, precision fermentation used to create proteins for all different things, to mimic meat, eggs, whatever. That may well be the future for food. We're swimming in protein. We have way more protein than what we need. The vegetable world is totally adequate for all of us, but some people want to get their teeth into something. So that probably is a great transition thing, or it's a way to go forward. But getting back to your point, so the personally, change your diet. Talk about it. Talk to other people about it. Look at a little bit of this material that I've presented here. This will give you confidence in saying, look, water alone says that we can't go past 2030 or at least 2040 without global collapse unless we change. What have you done about this for your kids? That's pretty blunt, but communities getting involved in, potlucks, vegan potlucks, tree planting organisations at the local and the regional level and at the national level. If we have a decent price on carbon, and we promote carbon farming adequately, this will mean that there'll be money in it for the people on the land who are the best placed people to do it, is to fence off that area and let it regrow or re-wild that as a community project.
Yeah.
There's lots of potential there. I'm a director of a group called Replant Byron, and our goal is to plant 1.8 million trees. But a lot of our work is actually being done for us for nothing, as nature takes over those properties that aren't actively re-clearing. So yes, nature is bursting to come back. Nature can't wait for us to stop burning and stop grazing. sheep are the most, and goats are the most effective tool to stop forests coming back. You look at Scotland, the highlands of Scotland. It's a beautiful, almost lunar landscape now, bleak. But Scotland used to be called Caledonia, and Caledonia means forest. And what happened is when the English took over Scotland, they carved it up and they gave chunks of land to their cronies, and they cleared the trees so that they could produce money by putting sheep on the land. So those sheep that were put their way back have been incredibly effective at stopping any seedling of forest, of tree, that poked its head up, chomp, it's gone. So with sheep, with ruminant animals, and with fire, we continue to terraform Earth. If we just stop doing those two things, the Earth will change dramatically. But why do we need to stop that? Well, as we saw, we can cut down deforestation in the Amazon by half purely by sourcing deforestation-free beef. So beef is such a strong tool there. So you know, the source and funding for these things. You know, this is another area for climate activism, is to look at what organisations, what banks are funding these organisations, the tree clearing. JBS have a very murky past. They're the biggest meat producer in the world, but they need finance. So that's supply chain stuff. The other part of the supply chain is, and we've seen it with having deforestation-free palm oil. And we could do the same with beef, and it's starting as well. So there's many, many different facets that we can work on here. But it's got to start at home, and it can start at home. That's the incredibly empowering thing. You can talk about, even if you've got a hardened family of meat eaters, you can maybe do one day a week, or there's a lot of analogues out there that taste and chew like meat. So we can start with that. But it's worth starting. It's worth having those conversations. It's worth talking to people about, did you know that we can stop climate change, we can reverse these